Some jazz to yes, you gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn. It was just past 1, 2, 3 man with a 4, 5 step to the door like, oh my gosh, just throw that cash in a backpack, run around the back.
Hey everybody, it's Liz from the Lemon Bowl.
Vince from Irie Kitchen.
And welcome to the Irie Lemon Podcast. Episode number 9.
What's that in Spanish? Do we not know?
Ocho,
Cinco días, ocho,
dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Ocho nueves.
Nueves?
Oh, nueves. Can you believe it?
Episode number 9.
So today, a little switch up from the usual. We're doing a Q&A.
Q&A time.
Ooh. Honestly, these are my favorite formats when I'm listening to podcasts.
Yeah, when people send in questions.
Yeah.
Please send in more.
Yeah, literally. And you know how to reach us at irie.lemon or either one of us individually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anytime. This is not like, oh, no more, you missed the chance. Comment on our photos or DM us, whatever. We will always, because there's always time to answer them within the episodes.
Yeah, and you get more from us too, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Asking direct questions.
So, the first question. You ready to go?
I'm always ready.
Okay. So we're going to rotate.
Never not ready.
Facts.
Shout out to my type 3s out there.
So true. So we're going to start rotating with the questions, a few of the questions we received, but we're also going to throw in a few questions that we're going to ask each other. Pretty much assumingly, I'm pretty sure there'll be questions we've actually never asked one another. We thought that'd be kind of fun in addition. So the first question that we received, and actually we received this question many, many times. I probably receive it several times a week. How did you two meet?
You asking me this?
Yeah.
Okay. So Parker is one of my best friends, aka my brother, pretty much at this point.
He's the best.
Was following Liz on Instagram, sent her a message and said, hey, pretty much on the lines of my friend's opening a restaurant as organic Caribbean food. You should check it out. Liz happened to see the message, which is crazier to even think about that because she has a big brand. And then she says, or pretty much said, okay, seems right up her alley is what she's all about. And then Liz, came in. Obviously, her and I kind of met, had interactions, and I think kind of fast forward a little bit, once we did the Irie late night show, I think this is when we really became friends after that point. We're already cool guys. We were talking. It wasn't like random, but after that moment, I think we became friends for sure after Irie late night. And so Irie late night is a cooking show we do, and the premise of the show is everyone brings a secret ingredient, and then I make something, and then we record it. It's always a good time. Liz brings 30 ingredients, and we go from an hour shooting to about 6 hours of shooting. But it didn't feel like 6 hours.
Right.
But our camera guy felt it. He dipped.
He left.
He was like,
peace out.
I'm out of here. But also on top of that, the food was really good. So guys, also in a funny way, I didn't know if Liz could cook. I know she did stuff for Instagram and her website and stuff. But obviously, I would guess that the goal is to make it look really nice, not actually make it taste really good, right? Because it's kind of more visually appealing, and then just make up a recipe behind it. But the food that Liz actually was making was really good, and she brought us hummus, and we all liked it. And I think after that, we can kind of connect it or bond it over the food side of things for sure. And then fast forward from that point, we just kept in contact. Always you will come in, eat food, but we'll talk. And then the conversations went from food-based to business-based real quick. And I was like, oh, you're an entrepreneur too. Right? And so we kind of related on food and we kind of related on entrepreneurship. And now we have the Irie Lemon podcast.
Right.
I think that's a good way of explaining it, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
I probably missed out some things, but.
Yeah, you missed all the good stuff in the middle. I like your story, though. That was good.
Two different perspectives, right?
Exactly. No, that's definitely what happened. And I think I don't think either one of us expected to become best friends, but it just sort of happened. And we've talked before about friends on purpose versus friends that you just see because you go to the same school or you work in the same place or you go to the same gym. We wouldn't overlap otherwise. So anytime we're together, it's on purpose. Mm-hmm. And I think your best, obviously when we talked about a circle of 5 in the past,
Yeah.
You know, it's important to have, it's going to be a strong circle if it's filled with friends on purpose versus the friend that's out of convenience because you live near each other, etc. So essentially, anytime you see Vince and I together, whether it's filming videos, traveling, doing the podcast, just hanging out, playing basketball with Jacob, whatever it might be, or me even just at Irie, I don't have to be there, etc. So, and he doesn't have to be here. It's because we want to be, because we just realized we had a lot in common, same goals, same visions. And something that the two biggest unique things about you, which I love, is that I don't have a lot of friends that cook. So it's really fun to have a friend that can cook, not just, you can cook really well, you like to cook, and those are two things that a lot of my friends, they cook because they have to feed their family, but they don't really love to cook. Mm-hmm. Or I have many friends that I think most people don't like to cook, I will say. Most people I know. Yeah. So that's been really fun. And then the other thing is that you're super driven like I am, which is kind of cool. I don't really have a ton of they call it business besties, that type of thing. I don't have a ton of friends that, I have many friends that don't work out of the home or whatever it might be. So it's really cool to have someone that has super big goals and that I can tell my crazy goals to, and you don't think they're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Like the Six Full story.
Yeah, you got a crazy idea. I'm the one that's like, let's do it.
Yeah, literally. He's like, Liz, cool business you've created. You've performed about a sixth of your capacity. He's like, let's see what you can really do. And of course, at first I was like, get out of my house. But next I was like, you know what? It's really cool to have someone in my life that pushes me, because I think as someone that has achieved some success and is pretty, typically I'm the most driven person in my circles. Yeah. Not a lot of my friends are pushing me. So I really appreciate that about you, Vince, that you kind of push me.
Yeah, no problem.
So thanks.
I think it's cool. I think you should kind of explain too, your entrepreneurship lineage too. I think for a lot of people, and I always say, people look like the part, and so do I. And it kind of uses to your advantage. You could be coming off, kind of like the underdog a little bit, where people don't take you seriously. And it's funny how you have all these quote unquote business people. You have these different circles, not only in this city, but in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And people classify you how you classify you. So from a business aspect, it interests me that you built a business of something that wasn't there before. Yeah. You didn't see Instagram, then you made it. Right? You're doing it before.
Yeah, Instagram didn't exist.
So I always tell people to be able to do the before and then go gun-ho on something, that's pure entrepreneurship DNA. So I feel I think it's cool to perhaps why I pushed the podcast so much was people have to see that you're more than just a recipe maker.
Yeah, you should really touch on that, because I do want to give Vince credit. This podcast was your idea, and you definitely pushed me to do it for 5 months before I said yes. Yeah, so tell everybody, why did you feel this is important? So,
first off, we're not supposed to be friends in any aspect. No, right. One overlap, 2 different ages, 2 different worlds, right? So the fact that we are, there has to be a connection there, and obviously over food and business. So the more I got to know you and the more I got to saw what you did, I was like, oh wait, she's and you know me, I give credit where credit is due always, and it's to be a mom, a wife, and an entrepreneur, it's a lot, and to be successful in business while managing those 2 things and all the other 10 things, right? Yeah. Is a lot to do. So I respected that 100%. But I think too is doing that before Instagram's a lot. You're an entrepreneur. You built something that wasn't there before, and then you were successful at it. So it's I was oh, people got to know that Liz is actually a business person.
He says that everyone just thinks I'm a mom.
People look at you oh, she's just this mom, and maybe spends her hubby's money and is has a blog, right? And that's not and people who've been following you for a long time know your story and know that's not the case. But people who are coming new, right? Yeah. Running into you are not going to give.
So you mean that's what you thought?
That's not what I thought. I'm very. That's why we are friends. I don't think that way.
No, I agree.
So but I am able to put myself in other people's shoes and see people's perspectives all the time. So it's that's not hard for me to do. I always get people's perspectives. Yeah. So I saw that when you come in Irie or I see you around, I say, oh wait, people are not looking at Liz the way they'll look at maybe a guy version of you. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Or maybe a woman who didn't have a fan version. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But to do what you have done and continue to do at such a high level, that's not that's talent, and that's also like hard work, right? Like that's not
Thanks, man.
that's not like normal. So I think for you too, I think it's huge that you can share some of your business acumen, because it's like even me, you talk about business like you have great ideas.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Business, like, yeah, you know your lane in business, but a lot of business advice you can plug and play. Well, a lot of it is not like about a tactic, right? It's about like big picture theory stuff, and like you get the big picture theory stuff, like, oh, if you show up every single day, answer emails on time, you'll get business.
Right.
And I just go like, it's just like, you're at, like, you know, it's so simple when you say it, but like for people, it's like, oh, just be consistent for a long period of time, you can see breakthrough. Like that's what people should, like, they can get that from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you. I think also, you know, what you're getting at as well, like the reason we became friends, I think we both have a really high mutual respect for one another, like a truly genuine, like we don't have anything, we're not trying to like gain things from one another.
Yeah, no.
You know, I don't even get free chicken at Irie Kitchen.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Let's just be clear. So and to be honest, like I wouldn't, like I don't want, like, you know what I'm trying, how do I say this? Like,
I don't
so
want
for
free
example, I think that Vince is the most amazing person because he opened a restaurant at 20.
Yeah, you're the one that showed me I was the youngest person to open a restaurant in Grand Rapids.
Literally.
I didn't even know that.
And I have a hospitality background, so I remember freshman year taking restaurant classes, but I'm good.
Yeah.
Hard pass. I know, now again, I don't know like you know, but I have worked in the industry. I opened hotels. I've been in the restaurant, you know, hotels often have like 8 restaurants. And I've been back there, and I'm with them when they're in their meetings, and I know the daily responsibilities. So the fact that
no joke,
1 in 10 restaurants survives more than 6 months. So the fact that you've been open for 3 years, so I really want to make it clear that we both think the world of each other. So I think that is partly why we have such a strong, you know, friendship and work partnership, because we do, even though we are in 2 different like stages of life and different worlds, we both have mutual admiration for one another and want to just basically, I think, and you tell me if you're wrong, but I feel like we want to make each other better.
Yeah, I think we both didn't have biases in what quote unquote friends look like either.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fact. You know how many people would be like that wouldn't like
Just
pursue a friendship because on paper
Because other people are gonna say
literally
boring.
Yeah, it's so true. We could care less what people might say or think about our friendship.
Yeah,
Totally.
we don't care at all.
As long as like you and I are good, that's so. I think our friendship is unexpected. Although I will say, people that know us both are like, oh, of course you're friends.
Yeah, if you know us and had context, you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Like your friends who met me for the first time, George and Fungi.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but
within 30 seconds, I ran into a few of Vince's friends at a networking event, and I recognized them from photos and things like that. And I went up and I said, "Oh, I've heard of great things." Within 30 seconds of talking with me, they were like laughing at how, like, oh, no wonder Vince and you are friends. Like people get it. I think people that know us both in person.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes 100% sense.
Yeah. So it wasn't supposed to happen.
But it did.
But the fact that like it probably wasn't ever gonna, like, we weren't gonna cook together for a couple hours in your kitchen and not become best friends. Like I feel like that's kind of well, let's be real. The hummus sealed the deal.
Yeah, that hummus was pretty good.
All right. I know we went on a tangent. We're gonna do that a lot. That's another reason we're friends. We're both long-winded. Okay. Next question. If you could eat with any chef, who would it be?
Pops.
Yeah, Pops is the bomb. Pops is Vince's dad. If you're just tuning in for
Pops
the
is my
first
dad. He's the best chef in the world, hands down. I may be a little biased. I love eating his food. Personally, again, guys, too, like, and I hate to say it, like, I love food. I'm in the industry, but I'm not as like nerdy as like people think I am. Like, I don't even know who the hottest chefs are right now. Like, I really just don't know, and kind of, in a sense, kind of don't care. Yeah. But I respect what they do. But like, yeah, like, you know me, like, I'm not trying to get Michelin stars out here, like, and that goes back to my kind of split brain of creative and business. Like, I care more about brands and what it means to eat your food and what the atmosphere than I would care about how good the food is. And I'm never negating the fact the food has to be good. Like, your product has to be top notch.
And by the way, Vince is an incredible cook, as is his father. Like, they both are. You notice I stopped teasing you, but I used to tease you a ton.
Yeah, because people would be like, you don't like Liz for sure, but like a lot of people like, you don't even cook. I'm like,
low key though,
bro,
I was just trying to get him to like cook it a little bit better for me to. It worked.
And I was like, I can do this like,
eyes closed.
Like,
And actually, one of the things I make us do sometimes is I do like for us to cook like on a regular basis, because I think that it's really cool. Well, for one, cooking is like a huge, I would say, like, to your point, you don't necessarily want to be like the best chef in the world, but we both enjoy cooking and can do it with our eyes closed, and it's kind of therapeutic. It's super relaxing, gets us in flow state. And I think sometimes in order to have the best business ideas, you have to shut your brain off a little bit. So cooking is kind of one of those ways you just get in this weird flow state, and that's when some of your best ideas can come to your head. And in fact, that's when a lot of the things we're doing together have come about.
So you guys, there's a business tip from Liz right there.
Yeah. All right. So, and I have to say, similarly, my answer, I don't really like fawn over any celebrity chefs. If anything, I'd want to cook with like my great aunt Viv again, who's no longer alive. Like, that's why I wrote my Sunday dinner cookbook series, because it was they all paid tribute to the female matriarchs in the families. And I think that, like, if anything, like, I'd rather spend a day in your kitchen cooking with your parents than like with some fancy chef at a restaurant. Because I think the best chefs in the world, and in fact, when I did my cookbook series, they all had the tiniest kitchens, the oldest kitchens, the worst gadgets. Yeah. And they were making the best food I've ever eaten.
There's something about home cooked meals, guys. Like, they always take the W.
You can't beat it.
Now, respect to all the big chefs out there, but
oh yeah, don't get me wrong. If you want to have dinner, we're here for
you. You want to host us right. We will come and eat, and we'll enjoy it, and we'll respect. But
we're not like holding our breath for that.
Yeah, we're not that bougie.
If you could have coffee with your 15-year-old self, what would you say?
Ooh, you should answer that one first.
Yeah, you were 15 a minute ago, so I'm gonna answer it. All right. So I would say it. So 15.
That's a really good question. Shout out to whoever asked that question.
Guess who answered it? Abby Manchesky from
Abby.
The Enneagram Podcast. I was like, come on.
You guys, you have not listened to the Enneagram Podcast.
You've got to.
You have to go back.
Abby is the best.
She's the best.
She really is.
Shout out to Abby.
So I would tell my 15-year-old self, I was in high school. I was probably a junior, because I was 17 in college. So sophomore, junior, I was overweight. I was probably over 200 pounds. Life was not amazing. I didn't have a lot of friends. No guy ever wanted to look at me. Wasn't asked out to any dance. Like, high school is not great. And where I went to high school, all my friends were smarter than me, but I still had like a B average, maybe B plus, A minus. But where I go to school, the average GPA is like 4 point. It's like a 5 point, like it's somehow more than a 4 point. Yeah. So regardless, like I got kicked out. I remember that was when I got cut from the softball team because I couldn't run fast enough. Life was not amazing. So what I would tell my 15-year-old self, who was so desperate just to fit in, I was also Jewish and Lebanese and eating hummus back before anyone knew what hummus was. Like literally, hummus was like the obscure, and everyone loved it. Yeah. They came to my house like, what's this amazing dip? And you're like, it's hummus? But essentially, I just so badly wanted, I think in general, humans want to be part of the herd. So like when you're not part of the herd, it's like survival, like it's not good. Yeah. So it wasn't a great time for me. And I just would probably go back and tell myself that to be patient and that life is going to get a lot better. And to know that God has a plan. Like I really believe that God had a plan for me this whole time, because I don't think I would appreciate all of my life today if I hadn't been through what I went through. Same thing like we had infertility struggles. That's another episode entirely. But I know that I'm so much more appreciative of being a mother, and it is hard work. Yeah. Every day is so hard. No one has kids because they're bored and need something to do. Like it's a lot of work. Yeah. But I know that I'm extra grateful for it because of that. And same thing like being overweight and cut from every sports team and not having a lot of friends and really not fitting in makes me, I don't know. I think it shaped who I am today. So while I didn't enjoy that time, I know that is why.
You had to go through it, right?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. I think.
I mean, we can't change it now.
Right. I will say this. I'm glad I didn't peak in high school. You know, I just turned 39, and I'm like look the best, feel the best than I ever have my whole life.
Yeah.
So frankly, I'm happy that I didn't peak in high school.
Yeah.
Because I feel really happy and grateful for my life today. So that's what I would tell myself, is to be patient and trust in the plan. All right. Should we go to the next question, or do you have an answer? Do you have a thought on that?
So guys, I'm 23, so I was 15
a minute ago.
Yeah, I'll go in a little bit. So I was in high school, obviously. Again, I think I graduated when I was around 17 too, so we're also similar in that front. I didn't have the most friends, but I would say that like I was at least try to be nice to everybody. I think I was definitely like, so I wasn't good at school, and like at all.
Yeah.
like at all.
It was a struggle.
Yeah. So, but luckily at that point, I think I was able to do a thing called KCTC, where I was able to like leave and go cook.
That's cool.
And then come back. Well, that happened for a couple of minutes, and then I was like, wait, I can just skip school. So sometimes I would go to class to cook, and other times I'll just skip and go to sleep or whatever.
I can't believe that.
Or just go to the beach with my friends. Whatever it was.
And
like.
that's because your parents worked, right?
Oh yeah, my parents were there.
Like
yeah.
my mom was at home. There was no like coming home.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I would go home to eat lunch, but then like.
Listen, my parents left the house probably like 7 or before 7 every day. So school like 7:30. So I would see my parents leave. We'll take the bus, whatever. So
how'd you get home without? That's the thing. We walked home. So how did you get home without?
I mean, I didn't live too far from away from the school, but it's a good walk. A lot of people drove at EK. So like,
you get rides.
Oh yeah, he was like, oh, who's dipping today? Who's skipping today? Like, people just like tweet like, I'm skipping like all the rest of the day.
Oh my god, the fact that people would tweet.
And then we're all like, oh well, you're skipping, I'm skipping too. So I definitely think I like aspirationally, I always knew that I was gonna do like business stuff, and like so I kind of waited for school to just be done. Like I think in that time in my brain, I definitely remember thinking like, yo, like this is like time for me to have fun. Like I was doing stuff that like people are now doing when I was like, I'm not trying to pat my back. Like, but I got introduced to a lot of things at a young age, so I didn't really have to like.
So what would you, you're 23 now, go back and tell your 15-year-old self?
So like my story is not like as written yet, right? So I would just tell him to like, you know, just keep trying to make the right decision.
Yeah, that's honestly the best thing you could ever tell a kid. You
know, just trying to trust yourself, and who knows what happened. I also probably tell him like to not be as hard on himself.
That's a huge one.
Yeah. But like, I'm so hard on myself at 23. So like, you know, but you know, I try to tell myself every day that. But 15-year-old me had big goals and big aspirations for 20-year-old Vincent, 23-year-old Vincent. You guys gotta remember, like, I was cool people, but people didn't think I was gonna do anything with my life. Like, I was definitely like the cool dumb kid. I'll probably describe myself. All my friends were smart. Like, I didn't have college picked out.
Have you outgrown that? Like feeling that way?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, even in that moment when people make jokes, like,
it never hit you.
I know it's for everybody.
So lucky. That's awesome.
I was like, we'll see, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll see how the game plays out. Like, that's my whole. Because I just don't know.
Spoiler alert.
Because I don't know. Like, you know, like life's all about not knowing. So for me, it's like I'm betting on myself 100% though.
I love that.
Yeah, and mind you, as a 3, like I've been waiting my whole life to win big, better than everyone else at, and like this is my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everything else I wasn't good at, and I didn't win that much at. Right? I mean, I won, but like this is the thing where I get to be like trailblazing, myself unique. And low-key, I got discouraged when everyone was trying to be an entrepreneur. I was like, no, you guys didn't want to be this when we were younger. You guys wanted to like have jobs and stuff.
That's funny.
But now it's like cool that like everyone's getting into it, and now I just want to be like the best.
Okay, so I'm going to interject with a question for you. We have a lot of Type 3 listeners, which we recently learned, which makes sense being somewhat of a business-oriented podcast. So I think a question that you could answer that'd be really helpful to people is, as a Type 3 who is super success-driven and basically takes a lot of value based on your successes and your wins, what are some maybe tools or strategies you've learned to bounce back from losses? so that you don't, you know, because obviously you're not going to reach your goals if you're like in a bad place, right?
Just gotta go through it.
Yeah.
I think.
So what does that mean actually?
I think like as a 3, you might try to skip the loss, like try to like go on to the next thing really quick.
They call that like rephrasing the loss. Like, oh yeah, no, it's totally fine. They were just talking about that in that podcast.
Yeah, so like you try to like, I feel like a lot of times I would
reshape it.
Yeah, reshape it, or like sometimes you just have to go through it. And I think like for like a 3, like, you know, just go through it, yo.
Yeah.
It's like hard for us because like, and this might hit some people 2 or 3 is like when you're not winning or progressing, like you're in a losing world. Like if I'm not progressing or winning at something, like I don't feel like anything. Like I don't feel like I'm happy or where I want to be at.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a sick game you play with yourself, right? But it's like it's true.
Yeah.
So like I think a lot of times you just gotta take the L and go through it and feel not try to like jump so fast because sometimes you're making decisions out of like a weird position.
So when you
like,
go through something
out of anger or something, like you're just trying to rush to the next thing to prove a point, rather than actually thinking something through all the time.
It's really true. It's really smart.
So you're trying to avoid that feeling of like loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like
So when you say you have to go through it, you mean I get what you're saying. So
fucking
don't
cry.
rush to whatever.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Okay,
cry.
you had me at crying. I got it.
Cry. Go in your room. Eat ice cream.
Yeah.
Drink. I don't care. Like whatever your way of coping, and like I don't judge you for
Do
that.
you really ever cry?
Rarely.
I cry so much.
But like as an adult, well, you know this. As a kid, I was super sensitive. Like guys, like we used to have like I just remember this the other day. We used to run around the block. And then
like a race.
Yeah. And I would cry if I came second.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like I would like not like be upset.
Yeah.
Like very upset.
That's so funny. So that goes back to your thing about don't be so hard on yourself.
Oh yeah. But this is something I've been like since a kid. Like when parents would come in and like I see the kids and like they're like, oh, we just won the soccer game. Like good job. Or like, well, we just lost the soccer game. And I'm like, and this kid's not crying. Like I would have been like, you know, I don't want to eat anything. Like we just lost.
Oh yeah.
So like for me, like I have to learn how to cope with
right.
Like, you know, but then now in a weird way though, it got me so comfortable. So
losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like when
I'm way better at it now than I used to be.
Yeah. Well, like when I didn't make the softball team, I remember it was tough, but not so much because I was desperate to play softball. I thought I was the best. It's because my best friends were playing it. Yeah. And now I couldn't be with my friends.
Yeah.
Literally.
Now driven.
Literally, everything as a type 2 is relational. So now it wasn't about like, oh my God, but I'm not going to be the best softball. I don't want to win any. Hence, I didn't make the team. But especially where I go to school, like, you got to be really good.
Yeah.
So, but really why it broke my heart was just because now my friends are going to be off. You know how that goes the whole semester. They're playing the sport. And of course, it's embarrassing, of course, you know, to, like, not be fast enough and quick enough. And they gave me, like, the pity, like, if you want to come keep score. Oh, my God.
Oh, come keep score?
Come keep score. Can you imagine being the chubby girl on the side that didn't make the team, but you can come keep score?
Be like, no.
Literally.
That's
why now the crazy part too is like that is like going back to the 15 on self is why literally at 39 in my like weightlifting classes or circuit training or whatever it is, in my mind I'm still like that kid that can't do it. Whereas in reality, I'm often lifting more weights than a lot of other people or whatever. You know, I work out probably more than the average person.
Yeah.
You know, so in general, like when people call me athletic today, I can't even realize it.
Yeah.
But often people do call me athletic. It's crazy. But in my head, it's like crazy how your brain sometimes gets stuck
on something.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, like, again, like, two sides of the same coin, right? Like, we're in this
exactly.
but it's the same kind of, like, I can relate to those kind of, right?
Okay, you interject me have a question for me. But do you have one now? If not, we can go to the next one.
Let's go to the next one.
The next question is, what was the hardest/biggest surprise about starting a podcast? So, do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you should answer this one.
Okay. And this is actually
I was gung-ho from day one.
Literally. I'm going to be doing a lot of like, he's going to do a lot of I told you so, and I'll do a lot of thank you. I would say the biggest surprise is that, I'm trying to think. I think I'm just I guess for one, I'm surprised by how well it's been received. I think because, and this is such a good example of it's an excuse for not doing something, is that you think, well, it's already been done. There's a million podcasts. Like, who needs it? But obviously, we all know no one's done it like you. I hate that line about it, but it's true. Like,
so what?
Yeah. Like, so I think I'm just surprised by how well it was received.
So why were you more apprehensive for a podcast? Like, what was it really?
Here's exactly why. I am not someone that just does things half. Can we say half-assed? Well, I just did. So if I'm going to do something and commit to it, I want to be able to have the bandwidth to do it for a long period of time. I don't quit ever. So I was worried, as you can imagine, mom, wife, business owner, I'm pretty busy. And I was really just nervous about having the bandwidth to take on another project and commit to it long term, because I don't really do things short term.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, probably my biggest apprehension. Additionally, there is just logistical things like having a clean house once a week with no kids around.
Yeah.
It's not just something that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Normally this place is a disaster. It's little things like that.
Yeah.
Now those are silly excuses, I get that. But, it was really just like logistically about that, not knowing how to start a podcast, like not knowing what to buy.
Did you not think you had like business stuff for people?
Oh, as far as it being worthwhile?
Did you not view yourself as like an entrepreneur who could give value to other people?
No, I knew that would be very worthwhile for people. And that's actually what made me do it, is that, well, you made me see that, obviously, because you really pushed. Vince has been a big champion of pushing the Lemon Bowl to share more than just recipes. Is that a good assessment?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you should say it.
Yeah, so like the way I look at your brand, like you've done an amazing job building a foundation around recipes and food, healthy living. But the special thing you did, which is different than other brands, because I do research, is that like you actually put yourself in it. So now the Lemon Bowl is Liz, and Liz is the Lemon Bowl. It's not like a website that you ran from behind the scenes that no one knew who you were. I'm like, oh, okay, so like you're telling me all these people actually like you and actually follow you. Right. So great, you can do recipes with your eyes closed, but like this is not. You don't do these. This didn't happen like kind of on accident, but not on accident. Like after a while, like you know the moves you're making. So I think, and like Matt, we're having conversation about business during this time, right? So like I'm seeing the side that like I know you're not sharing.
True.
Cause we'll have a 30-minute conversation or an hour conversation around business, and then you go on your stories and talk about something totally different.
Right.
And I'm like, no, Liz. Like, there's you gotta tell people about this shit.
Yeah.
Like I think people, like especially your following base, especially they'll be down to listen to somebody like who did it.
Well, I think when you're in it, you take for granted that you're doing something significant, if that makes sense. So,
100%.
Like me, for example, I get asked a lot about how my week looks, or how, in my mind, doesn't everybody batch work? Doesn't everybody do all their work on a Sunday so they have the week free for meetings? Doesn't everybody do photo shoots twice a month so they have all their content for the month? Doesn't everybody, use different programs I use? Or doesn't everybody schedule weekly calls with their assistant? Or doesn't everybody manage their time like this? Or yeah,
I think for you is like,
but you know what I mean? How you just assume everyone already.
Yeah,
knows
exactly.
it.
No, I get it. Yeah, and then I think too is like more than the tactics is like you're geared for business, like the way you just think about things, the way you approach things.
I think it's in my blood.
So like 100% is in your blood. So like
I realize I'm so not normal.
Right, like. There's a reason why you took 5 months to say yes to a podcast. Like, guys, you like listen to what she's saying. Like, it's like 5 months to think instead of jumping right. The reasons why too, right? Like you actually thought about.
Which is funny because then on the other hand, I'll jump into like being your best friend in 2 weeks.
You're like, oh, we can be friends. I don't care about being friends. I care about the podcast, but we have to be friends.
That's so mean. He's being mean right now. I don't like that.
But yeah, no, it's just funny.
No, but it is funny how I'll jump into certain things and I'll think through other things. So, yeah.
Yeah, just giving people those like, yo, wait, think before you do things. What are your markers like?
I'm gonna give you so much crap.
What, things?
I guess.
I'm the opposite.
I just want to do the podcast, Liz, but I guess we'll be friends.
That was just funny though. Yeah, and guys, I'm the complete opposite. I'm different than Liz. Like, I think through kind of things. I more like have to touch the pot.
Well, and I think I knew that about you also. So, like, I'm really weary of the ideas guy that has 1,000 amazing ideas, but might not actually, like, do the work in between. We talk a lot about B to Y. Should we talk about B to Y?
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Tell him.
I mean, this is your forte.
All right, so
there's a lot of B to Y
Vince
work.
has a lot of great Z ideas out there. Like, you from day one of our first phone calls, I remember I called you because, like, your text was so big picture, I literally couldn't understand it. I was like, wait, I'm calling you because you don't make any sense to my...
I'm like, what? Does it make any sense?
He has such amazing, inspiring dreams that clearly he hasn't thought through, like, how they're going to happen. Like, some of the in-between stuff is glossed over, which, by the way, is what's so amazing about a visionary. The world wouldn't exist if we didn't have people having those big picture thoughts. And also... in general, when you're forming your circles, like, you need to have balance. And I think that's why we're a really good balance. So when you were bringing up, like, the podcast, I was thinking of the B to Y. So, like, how are we going to promote it? How are we going to make the graphics to promote it? Who's going to edit it? Where are we going to record it? Oh, God, now I have to wear makeup and blow dry my hair that day. How am I going to head the kids out of the house? Like, wait, how am I going to get to the gym on the day that we have to record the pod? Like, so many B to Y. Now, don't get me wrong. I fully realize that, A, that sounds absurd. B, that's probably limiting me in various areas of life. But that's why I got Vince here to help me out.
Yeah, you do that side.
Balance me out.
We do that, like.
But I mean, to be fair, there is some validity in my thoughts.
No, and there's not just some. That's all the, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, so someone like me who's a visionary, and also I'll call myself an architect in a sense. Like, I know where the letters have to go, and I know what the letters should be. Mm-hmm. But what I don't know is like the actual B to Y stuff. Like, okay, so you know that this one should be B, but you know what it, like, how we get B to B here, right? And that's where you offer a lot of skill set in. It's like, all right, cool. Like, for me, like, let's go back, prime example of the podcast. I didn't care about what we had to do to get it up. Yeah. I just know that it needed to be up because people are going to listen to it, they're going to like it. But that's cool. But you also need to know, like, okay. I mean,
we bought microphones and had to return them.
Yeah, it was
like there was logistical.
Because I didn't know anything about podcasts either.
Yeah.
Zero. Yeah. None. It just had an idea, like, you know what? This would be a good idea.
He tricked me, basically. Trapped me into
finesse guy.
But I'm glad we did it. And what made me want to do it was really the idea of helping others. So hopefully this is helpful. Do you have a question for me yet?
I did ask you questions.
Okay. Here's another one.
Okay.
I'm saying I don't want to cut you off. You just throw it out there when you have it.
No, yeah, it's going to come in.
The next question is, and this is for you. So the question is, what are Irie Lemon's goals for 2020 next year?
Take over the world. Which
is a great question for Vince because Vince is future, I'm present. So any present day questions, I'll answer.
To be honest, like, I think we should. To be honest, I want to tell you guys all the moves first off.
Yeah, he's not gonna like lay it out there, but let me tell you, there are some ideas.
There's a lot of ideas out there. I think what you're gonna see from Irie Lemon is definitely us doubling down on things that work. So that's why we need a lot of questions, a lot of love from like the pot. Like, let us know what you like to
feedback.
Hear. Especially our other content that we're doing. I think you're gonna start seeing more of a rhythm and flow, like a momentum. But like, try to get to that every kind of couple days. We're doing something flow.
Want to tell them about Irie Eats?
We just did a series starting out called Irie Eats. So
Irie Lemon Eats.
Irie Lemon Eats.
I know, I keep forgetting the lemon part. Classic movie.
You just call it Irie Eats? No, so Irie Lemon Eats, which is really cool. I just really want you guys to see it, so I don't give you guys too much. But so look out for the Irie Lemon Eats video.
You're gonna love it, though.
We did something on the west side. So we have that piece of content coming out. I think for everyone to, I know it's great for people to pay attention.
Yeah.
Start answering the questions they have. Like, what exactly is this? So next year, we're going to see a lot of things that are going to start making sense. Mm-hmm. Content, business moves, strategy, just things that we're up to. And guys, just know that Irie Lemon is definitely for like all of you. Like, that's the biggest inspiration too. Like, it's not, like, it's cool we get to talk on a podcast and do videos, but it's bigger, I think, for everybody else, right? I think that's the thesis of Irie Lemon is like, you know, helping people live their best lives essentially. So it's literally for everybody else. So we're here as like as a tool for you guys. So just always be open, be communicative with us, so we can give you the best content ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2020.
Stay tuned. But trust, there are some big plans.
Big moves. Woo!
Vince and I aren't really ones to like do things
Yeah,
like half-ass.
and again, like Liz just explained, you know, big strategy guy. Like there's people that play checkers and people that play chess. And I'm
Right.
definitely a chess player. So even me like explaining moves, it just won't even make sense unless you're like in the fold. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I see it. He's like, yeah, listen to me.
I don't know. There's a lot of what we do. I mean, I think it's a good combination, but there's things we do that I just take your word for.
Yeah.
You know, because I really do trust your instinct and your visions. And then obviously at the end of the day too, I'm a lot of times doing the Z to Y work or the B to Y work. So it is both. You know, you can't do a business with just big ideas. You know how many meetings I've been to with people that just want to talk about ideas, but no one actually does anything? I can't stand that, folks. So I can assure you that Vince and I are the perfect combination, that all the big ideas that we have, we also have the tools to make them happen. And the goal, like Vince said, is to provide lots of value. We really want to empower others to reach their dreams, live their best lives, whatever goals you're looking to achieve.
All of it.
Yeah.
Like, for you.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah, it's all for you.
The ramen, the slurping ramen noodles. That's my favorite part of the video. All right, you have to ask me a question now.
So kind of going off that too, like talk about B to Y strategy. Why do you think that is so important to business in your own life, like where you got, versus like not really needing to have like always the big vision?
Mm-hmm. So
'cause I feel like there's a lot of people. Anyway, keep going.
No,
first.
say what you're gonna say.
I think a lot of like you said, there's more people that know how to do B to Y, but they just don't always have the idea.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm guessing I probably have a little bit of the visionary part because I
'Cause you're-
created a business that didn't exist at the time,
And you're
right?
like, yeah, your wing is a 3,
Right.
which makes sense.
Right, I am a
Which is
3.
why I'm envious of Liz a lot of times.
Well, and also in terms of like Myers-Briggs, I think that's another big difference is that you're an ENFP, I'm an ESFJ, so like even our relationship to time and things like that, how we organize our schedules.
Yeah.
So I would say what I have noticed is that in general, I mean, for example, a lot of what I do right now is work with national CPG brands. So whether that's Sabra or, you know, Meyer or whatever it might be, you know, we don't do anything. It's not like you just have a big idea and they're going to send you a check.
Yeah.
You're going to have a 15-page contract outlining specifically the details of everything.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm planning a holiday party with Meyer coming up, which I'm excited about because I love to entertain and cook, etc. But I mean, again, it's not like I just throw a party. There's a lot of logistics and details and organization and things that have to be done well ahead of time, like drafts that have to be approved and ideas that have to be approved. You know, people that need to be hired to make the event a success. There's a lot of stuff in between now and the party that have to happen, and that's how I make a living, is by being paid to do certain activations like throwing that party.
Exactly.
Is that kind of like a good example?
Yeah, it's a good example, and I think for people who are hearing, I mean, people who are quick probably got it, but people who are like, okay, what?
Yeah.
That's that B to Y. So like the drafts, the organizing, the operations of stuff.
Right.
Especially for business, is the skill set that Liz has that she also likes to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't really have that skill set, right? Like if you're a visionary, a lot of times, and I think I have.
Or you probably get a little bit bored with it as well.
Yeah, bored of it as well.
Like I know it's sometimes hard for you to be in a meeting more than 45 minutes, and I think that's probably one of the bigger like you know, because I think for you, it's like you don't want to get bogged down with the day to day. Like let's be real, a lot of it's mundane work.
Yeah, and I don't like
It's not exciting.
I think me being a 3-2, I don't get why it's 45 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Right. So part of me is just like, why is it 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, we can do this in 15. So, and I think because I'm a visionary, and I think because I'm quick to get things a lot of times, like I don't need as much explanation or quote unquote readiness as everybody else does. Doesn't mean that everyone should be on my schedule.
Well, and that's
right?
another good.
So like,
yeah,
I've learned that like, okay, just because I can get something really quick, like you can tell me something once, you don't have to ever repeat it to me ever again. Like I got it, unless I'm not paying attention. And then it's like, well, yeah, I've repeated it a couple times, which is, you know,
most
percentage of the time. But like a lot of times when I am paying attention, I got it. So when I am, but no, I think it's cool to see and to respect that, there's serious B2Y work, operation skills, of like how to do something, and how to get it done, and that is like powerful for business.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that I necessarily enjoy it either. Even like luckily today, I'm kind of the point where I can hire people for certain areas of my work.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not suggesting that, you have to do it all yourself, but you need to have someone on your team that can do that for you.
Exactly.
Because people always show up to my events, whether that's like the menu party series downtown or a party at my house, and all those events are so much fun, but those took 4 months of planning.
Exactly.
A lot of emails, a lot of communications, a lot of, organization and meetings and phone calls. There's a lot of details. So for example, when I hire an event planner to style a party, there's a whole series of emails and talks and phone calls and texts and buying trips and shopping trips and budgets that have to take place.
Exactly.
Even just the financial aspect of everything.
Yeah.
That you can't just be like, oh yeah, no, just do it. Like that's not how the real world works. Like we have budgets to adhere to, we have timelines to adhere to. So I would say for me, as someone that would be like, well, we need a 30-minute meeting because I've got to go through this checklist with you and make sure we're not going to miss anything.
Yeah.
And that's also, I would say, part of why I'm so successful is because my clients can rely on me to get things done. There's a lot of people out there that work with different brands and they don't exceed their expectations. They don't even often meet the expectations.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the difference maker of like a B2Y person versus just having the cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta know. You just gotta know. Yeah, you just gotta know yourself and like what position you play. Because even on the cool idea side too, like to even get deeper on my side of things, there's like two sides of that.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because there's the people that just have the idea, right, and they offer no strategy, they just have the
maybe
idea.
not even talent to do the idea.
Yeah, they just have the idea, and then like they probably are more what you call like the sprinkle of magic. They have the idea, but
sprinkle of magic.
Yeah, and they probably like live the brand.
Yeah,
in a sense. So it's like they are the brand, they are the idea, and then those people are easier to sell.
Okay.
Because when someone literally lives a brand and has a cool idea that's so like infectious, like a lot of people attach themselves to it because they can feel right. I think people like me on the other side who has the ideas but also has the strategy and how to do it, we're almost a little bit less attractive because you might not see where you can help.
Oh,
and like we're also not the best at telling people where to help.
Yeah.
So like, could we just kind of assume that like the pieces are gonna fall where they're gonna fall? And I feel like we're almost in a sense sometimes less sticky or less attractive because like it's not just this idea. It's probably gonna be 10 more.
Right.
And then like a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if I'm down for the other 10 ideas.
Right.
I might be down for this one. So I think that's also like on the side of on the visionary side too, because I've ran into people who are the brand and have the idea, and I'm like, listen, if you like, you're someone who if you just do that, you're good.
Yeah.
Like think about Javad, GB300, best day ever. Like that's all he has to do. He's good. Like we're not looking for anything like.
But you're saying that you want him to be doing a bunch of other things, or you're saying that he wants to be doing a bunch of other things?
No, I'm just saying like on the visionary side, there's two aspects of that, right? Like that's big vision, but like that's easy, best day ever.
Yeah.
Amazing idea. So, but you meet him, he's also the brand. So like I can see people just attaching themselves to like, oh, I'll make sure your orders get fulfilled and get sent. I'll make sure. Because like all we need you to do is just be that brand. Like a lot of famous people are that. Yeah. Right? They are the brand. They are their product. Like Drake, he is his music. It is Drake. Everyone else can find and fill out the rest of the stuff. Right. Right. Because being part of Drake's camp or Michael, whatever, whoever it is, like it's easier to like find what's needed. Right. Because they are the brand. They are the product.
That'd be like me then, right?
Yeah, you're also in that sense, but you have. That's why we're friends. You have the actually B2Y skills where like you can do a lot of it. So you're like, in a sense, more like kind of like a Kanye who can make the beat, but also sing the song.
That's cool.
But also know how they should be marketed.
Right.
Not everybody has those like skills or like knows like right? Could line them up. Either like, all right, I know I have a good product. I know people like me, but like you guys have to make sense of it. And there's people like, I know what song I'm gonna make. I know how I'm gonna make it. I know what I'm gonna put in the song. I know that's gonna go number one.
So tell us again what camp you're in.
So I'm more in like the secondary camp of like I have the ideas and I get the strategy, but I'm not the person that can do the work.
They'll implement them.
And that crushed my soul, guys, when I figured it out.
But the key is knowing.
Like Liz, the one that showed me that I wasn't that person, right? Like I thought I was the architect and the contractor. Yeah, because
it was because I didn't want you to be beating yourself up for something that isn't. You're not doing anything wrong.
Oh yeah, but exactly.
Just to be clear.
But also, I think too is good for people that, like, you have to understand your skill set. I think building is a great way to explain this. So a lot of entrepreneurs are the architect and the contractor. They know what they want to build. They know where the kitchen should be, and they know how to paint the walls and actually make it happen. You might have to cut some things out,
right,
to get to this point in this timeline, whatever, right? And like that's like the sweet spot.
Right.
If you're an architect and the contractor, that's the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm the developer and the architect.
Right.
So I know this area right here is gonna be the area.
But you need a contractor,
right? And I know that like these things should be here, and this how it should be. But the next step of like, okay, how's it getting done?
So how have you combated that with your business?
I have learned to get people surrounded by me who can do the contracting work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, funny story real quick, guys. Like, and anyone can like, I don't know if there's videos of it, but when I was helping paint Irie, I think I broke every brush.
Oh, that's so funny.
Like, you know the long ones?
Yeah.
Broke every single brush.
Why? Because you're going too frantically, like fast?
No, I just literally can't do it. Like literally. That's how like also like how school is for me. Like,
that's so funny.
Right, like literally when it came down, like, all right, here's algebra. I got what kind of right. As soon as you guys down to write X's and O's, lost. Can't do it.
That's so funny.
And imagine how frustrating is it when you kind of get it. Like I know we have to get to X or whatever the answer is, but like for some reason I can't get it. I can't get there. For some reason, and everyone else is like, what? But
obviously the key is just knowing.
You just gotta know yourself.
And surrounding yourself with a balanced group. And that's just like if you're in a workplace, it takes, you can't just have like a bunch of people on your team that are just like you.
Yeah, no.
That's not going to go well, and vice versa. And I think that's I think our biggest message today is just know who you are, know who you aren't. Yeah. Knowing who you aren't is just as important as knowing who you are.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least know what you're not.
100%.
Yeah.
And know that like the right people in your life, like having the right group, team, whatever it is, circle, whether it's a board of directors, personally or professionally, that's going to really be make or break for achieving success.
Yeah.
Because together we all kind of make the whole.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. No one person is ever going to do it. And that's tough. Many of us are entrepreneurs. You really do need to find ways.
You need a village.
You do. All right. We got to wrap up soon.
All right. Let's wrap up.
Should we ask me one last question? I'm going to ask you a final question.
Ask me a final question.
All right, Vince. What is the favorite food that your dad makes you? Pick one thing. What's your favorite meal?
I think you already know this.
I want to hear it. I bet everyone else does.
Well, okay. Well, curry goat.
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite thing in the world. No matter any day of the week, every day of the week.
It is the best. I want it right now.
It's the best.
Did you bring me some today?
I did not bring you some today.
Damn it, Vince.
No, but it's definitely my favorite thing in the world.
I haven't had it in like 2 weeks and I'm fainting.
Yeah, so that's always my go-to.
What about your mother?
I mean, again, a curry goat.
Same
but like,
thing. Do they make it differently?
They do make it differently.
I had a
So Jamaica is kind of like Italy in the sense where everyone makes everything a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But also seafood. That's my second caveat.
Oh.
So
is that how you learn how to make the fish? Like you make me a lot?
Yeah, listen, like my family's known for seafood. Like we do stuff with meat, but like seafoods are a jam. That's what we do.
What kind of seafood?
That's when I get really cocky. Like there's no one that can outcook me with seafood. There's no
really?
way. There's no.
So I need to show.
Have you
up.
tried better fish than my fish?
So I need to have you over. No.
Okay, exactly.
So I need to have you over here and have a bunch of seafood.
Like the fish tea you made for your birthday. How good was that?
You guys, he made me this fish tea, which is a stew.
Like fish?
It was. I want that right now.
No one can outcook.
It was so good.
Like, doesn't matter what fish it is.
All right, now I'm starving.
So.
All right. That's good.
Man, I feel like I should have asked a question. So what's yours? Favorite meal?
I would say I really love all the Lebanese food that my family makes. So whether it's my mom, my Aunt Paula, I love stuffed kusa squash, which is it's like a summer squash that's cored and filled with a meat and rice mixture with cinnamon. Have I ever made that?
Yeah,
food?
you have.
It's really good,
Yeah,
and it's in like a cinnamon tomato broth. And I think there's mint and garlic in there too.
Yeah.
So that type of food is like my favorite.
That's your
Same
jam.
thing like a Syrian salad with garlic, mint. Anything Middle Eastern food is just so light, and it's got garlic and mint and lemon. It's just I always feel good after eating it, and not like grape leaves, like rolled grape leaves. I love those.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry right now. I could die. And a lot of those things aren't necessarily quick cooking.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate them when I have them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So this is the end of Q&A, but it's just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
So submit any questions you have anytime.
Yes. Please ask a lot of questions.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would love a 5-star review on iTunes. Thank you. We appreciate all of the ones. We've honestly, I think we have over like 16 5-star reviews.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
That's huge, guys.
How do you feel about that win?
Big W's out here. Shout out to you guys. Tell your mama, your sister, your boyfriend, your husband.
My mom watches the podcast
Shout out,
video
moms.
via the TV.
Shout out to Liz's mom. You're the best.
Hi, Mom. She's probably still like, what's a podcast? So, yeah, we would also love it if you tagged us on Insta stories if you're listening. That'd be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And send it to your best friend.
Please and thank you. And sell it to your friend and me, too.
Yeah, best
But
friend
hey.
and your friend and me.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening.
Bye.